Okay, this is chapter 33 of Good Girl Bad Blood. 33. Pip sat in her car halfway down Cortland. Not outside his house, just a little farther up, so no one would see. Her thumbs on her phone, she played the audio clip one last time. Max, at a calamity party in March 2014, did you drug and rape Becca Bell? What? No, I fucking didn't. Max, do not lie to me or I swear to God I will ruin you. Did you put Rifonol in Becca's drink and have sex with her? Yes, but it wasn't rape. She didn't say no. Because you drugged her, you vile rapist gargoyle. You have no idea what you've done. Pip's ears rang, trying to push away his voice and listen to her own. Good and bad didn't matter here. There were only winners, and Max only won if she let him. That was justice. And so she did it. She'd pressed the button, uploading the audio of that phone call to her website, reposting it on the podcast's Twitter account. Alongside the post, she wrote, Max Hastings' trial final update. I don't care what the jury believes, he is guilty. It was done. It was gone. There was no going back now. This was her, and it was okay. She dropped her phone onto the passenger seat and picked up the can of paint she'd taken from the garage, tucking the brush into her back pocket. She opened the door, reaching back for the final item, a hammer from her dad's toolbox, before stepping silently out of the car. She walked up the road, passing one house, 2, 3, 4, until she stopped, looking up at the Hastings family's sprawling home with its painted white front door. They were out, all of them, at their fancy dinner at the plaza, and Pip was here outside their empty house. Up the drive, past a large oak tree, coming to a stop before the front door. She set the paint can on the ground and bent down to use the end of the hammer to pry open the lid. The can was half full, the paint a dull green. Pip pulled out the brush and dipped it inside, spooling off the excess. No going back. She took one breath and then stepped up, pressing the brush against the front door. She reached high, leaping it up and down, crouching to pick up more paint when the lines ran dry. The letters were shaky and dripping, spreading out from the door to the light-colored bricks on either side. She went back over the words, deeper and darker, and when she was done, she dropped the brush on the path, a small splatter of paint where it landed. She picked up the hammer, twisting it between her fingers, feeling its weight in her hands. She crossed the left side of the house to the window there. She readied her arm and the hammer, held it back. Then she swung with full force into the window. It shattered. A sprinkling of broken glass fell inside and out, like glitter, like rain, dusting the tops of her sneakers. She tightened her grip on the hammer, glass crunching under her feet as she approached the next window, pulled back and smashed it, the sound of the tinkling glass lost beneath the rain. And the next window. First swing, cracked. Second swing, exploded. Past the front door and the words she painted there to the windows on the other side. 1, 2, 3, until all 6 windows at the front of the house were destroyed, broken open, exposed. Pip's breath was heavy in her chest now, right arm aching as she stepped backward down the drive. Her hair was matted and wet, whipping across her face as she looked up at the destruction. Her destruction, and painted across the front in the same forest green shade as the Amobi's new shed were the words, Rapist, I will get you. Pip read them and read them again, looked around at what she'd done, and she checked inside herself, under her skin, and she couldn't find it. The scream was no longer there, waiting for her. She'd beaten it. Can you come outside? She texted, the rain pattering against her screen, the phone no longer recognizing her thumb. Read, it said beneath her message a few seconds later. She watched from outside as the light in Robbie's bedroom clicked on and the curtain twitched for just a second. Pip followed his progress as the hall light turned on in the upper middle window and then the downstairs hall light glowing through the glass in the front door. It was broken now by Robbie's silhouette as he made his way toward it. The door opened and he stood there against the light, wearing just a white t-shirt and navy blue sweatpants. He looked at her, then up at the rain in the sky, and he walked outside, his feet bare, slapping against the path. Nice night, he said, squinting against the droplets running down his face. I'm sorry. Pip looked at him, her hair sticking to her face in long, dark streaks. I'm sorry I took it out on you. That's okay, he said. No, it's not. She shook her head. I had no right to be angry at you. I think I was angry at me mostly. And it's not just everything that happened today. I mean, it is that. But also, I've been lying to myself for a while now, trying to separate myself from that person who became so obsessed with finding Andy Bell's killer. Trying to convince everyone it wasn't really me so I could convince myself. But I think now that that is me, and maybe I'm selfish, and maybe I'm a liar, and maybe I'm reckless and obsessive, and I'm okay with doing bad things when it's me doing them, and maybe I'm a hypocrite, and maybe none of that is good, but it feels good. It feels like me, and I hope you're okay with all that, because I love you too. She had barely finished speaking, but Robbie's hand was against her face, cupping around her cheek, his thumb rubbing the rain from her bottom lip. He moved his fingers down to lift her chin, and then he kissed her, long and hard, their faces wet against each other, both trying to fight a smile. But the smile broke eventually, and Robbie drew back. You should have just asked me. I know exactly who you are, and I love her. I love you. Oh, by the way, I said it first. Yeah, in anger, said Pip. Ah, that's just because I'm so brooding and mysterious. He pulled a face with puckered lips and two serious eyes. Robbie? Yes, Pip? I need to tell you something. Something I just did. What did you do? He dropped the face into one that was actually serious. Pip, what did you just do?